homeless and hopeful. Close your eyes. Picture your home. Hear your pets. Smell the scent of the last candle you burned. Nice, right? Open your eyes to the realization that your home is gone. You no longer have the safety and comfort of your shelter. Where would you go? You go to the local shelter and the beds are filled for the night. There is no capacity, so you start to walk. All of your items are tightly packed into the ripped backpack that is effortlessly hanging off your shoulder. What are your options? Should you look for a quiet hidden spot to hide and sleep? Or would it be best to stay in plain sight? There's a bridge nearby. It's next to the river, overcrowded with people and rodents at this time of night. Clearly not acceptable. Should you sleep alone or with a group of strangers? Should you spend your last $42 on a motel for the night? But that is all the cash you have. You walk towards a McDonald's. You haven't ate, but surely are not hungry. You walk past the stares of the customers and staff and hope no one else is in the restrooms. You breathe a sigh of relief when walking into the empty bathroom. Your pants are dirty and shoes got wet when staking out the bridge option. So are your socks. You decide to remove your wet clothing and swap it with the extra set of pants you have in your backpack. You realize you only have one pair of socks left and you have to use them now. You open the little trash bin that sits close to the toilet bowl and remove the bag filled with women's used menstrual products. Underneath that bag lies an empty, unused bag that you so happily take to put your wet clothes in. As you are rinsing your mouth and wishing you had a toothbrush and toothpaste, you hear a haste knock on the door. It's the McDonald's staff, requesting you leave immediately as they know you are not a paying customer and other patrons need the restroom. Embarrassed, you unlock the door, make eye contact with the floor, and leave the restaurant. Humiliated, you continue to walk without direction. You realize it's hard to see, but it's because your tears have filled your eyes, making your vision blurry. But so you walk. You find a bus bench, very close to the street, but further away from the people sleeping in their bags behind you. You lay your bag down, you place your head on the bag, and you zip your hoodie as far up as it can go. The stars are bright. The air is crisp. You hear the gentleman closest to your bench struggle to breathe through his sleep apnea. It scares you. That's a sound you will never forget. You hear people in the distance, laughing and enjoying their night. They are on a mission and headed somewhere fun. You, on the contrary, are lost in your own city. Instead of sheep, you count the cars that drive by. You fall asleep. The warmth of the sun wakes you up, along with an officer who taps you on your foot and demands you leave the bench. You ask him for help. You seek advice from him. He mentions a local shelter you visited last night and suggests you go back again. I attempt to tell him there was no vacancy last night. He raises his hand to dismiss you and offers you a great day. You walk. You feel disoriented and dehydrated. The shelter seems much further away. You enter and are greeted by a nice young man who informs you there is no occupancy. And there may be none for weeks. The weight of your damp clothes feel like the weight of 1,000 pounds. For the first time since yesterday, you realize sleeping on the streets might be your new norm. He offers you a blanket as a parting gift. You walk until your feet swell. You see a park. You sit on the bench. A mother with her child walks past you and she pulls her baby closer to her, away from you. The stares are constant. With each passing person, your dignity is stripped away. Hours go by. You are hungry, cold, and exhausted. You are now the only person in the park. Everyone has somewhere to be but you. You contemplate sleeping on this new bench. At least now you have a blanket. 20 minutes later, the mist in the air turns into full-blown showers. There is no shelter. As you stand there looking for some relief, you realize your clothes are completely soaked. Your socks and your shoes are also soaked. Your dry blanket is no longer dry. You feel a breeze that shudders your bones, and you feel the familiar symptoms of a cold coming on. What would I do if I get sick? For a split second, death crossed your mind, and you were not scared. You actually felt relief. You realize the only person you have really talked to today are the voices in your head. The loneliness you feel is unbearable. You give up. You sit on the sidewalk with rain pouring on you, hoping for pneumonia and an end in sight. A police cruiser stops next to you and reminds you that loitering is against the law and a punishable offense. For a moment you think, jail might be better than this. At least you would be dry. But the thought scares you and you get up and you start walking. With no direction, no destination, no goal in sight. You walk until you can't no more. You try to stay positive and remind yourself you are not the only person in this predicament. You stay optimist with hopes that tomorrow will bring new opportunities. All you have left is hope. Things will turn around tomorrow. They must. That is a daily reality of over 500,000 Americans. The reasons for the circumstances vary from person to person. The main reasons are lack of affordable housing, unemployment, and substance abuse. How can you help? There are many ways we can lend out a helping hand. A care kit in a watertight gallon-sized Ziploc bag filled with essentials such as water bottles, socks, food, hand wipes, and personal hygiene items. Donations to the local shelters to fund staffing, extra beds, and even motel vouchers in order to keep people off the streets. And lastly, compassion. Their circumstances may be temporary, or they might be seasoned at being rough sleepers. Nonetheless, if you had an option, chances are you would choose shelter. So those that don't are truly in need. Statistics have shown that millions of Americans are just one paycheck away from financial disaster. Help. Donate. Give. Be kind. You may never know, it could be you one day. The things you take for granted, someone else is praying for. Author, unknown. Thank you.